Good evening, YouTube. It's 7 o'clock. It's already 7 over here. Give me a minute. I don't know why I feel like I haven't been on live for a while, which is not true. I was just here last night. So I have my loudspeaker on tonight. So I have music on behind me instead of on the laptop. I am gonna see if I like how that plays. It looks like I cut my hair, but I didn't. My hair is still just as long. I don't know why I keep talking about that. It's so cute. It just started being like this out of nowhere, like just like this little curly top thing. Anyway, so I pre-pulled cards. I guess with the quote cards that I have. Let me see what they're called. They're called Botanical Inspirations. It's so cute. It's just like cards with quotes, but like on flower cards, which is very, I don't know, it's very different to have. It's definitely not an oracle card, but so the first one says blissful pleasure. Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. And I love that. And I was like, yeah, I gotta read this one. And that is by Joseph Campbell. Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. And the second card I pulled was nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And I don't know how to say this man's name. Lao Su. Lao is Lao. Su, Tzu, I assume. Anyway, that is the theme, I guess, of what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is probably something that needs to be spoken about more with TIs, and it's not. So, we are going to talk about healing from betrayals. Something a little bit uncomfortable to talk about, honestly, because you know, I've been very vulnerable. I've talked about my experience with betrayals and stuff like that. And probably, you know, I think for everybody, you'll eventually need to revise your feelings on how you feel about things as you heal. Because I strongly believe like healing happens in phases and not just like all at once. But anyway, I'm going to give like my process on healing from betrayals. So I'm going to talk about my way, how I would do things my way. I guess I will itemize this maybe and put it in a chart as like the thumbnail of the video. So yeah, let me talk about it. I gotta just talk about this from my opinion. There's no point in like, I mean, I guess I could make it sort of like static for a bunch of people. And listen, first of all, this is something that we all go through when people pull everybody away from us. They sully our network with slander. They isolate us. In my situation, I have to be careful to remain isolated from these people because these people want to hurt me. So, you know, there's that. And I mean, not even just like emotionally wound me or like wound my business or try to put me homeless. I mean, like they physically want to hurt me. These people are, you know, not okay. So that is my situation. So I especially need to isolate, but I feel like most TIs are people who I want to say probably do want their relationships, probably highly affected by the betrayals that come in, that happen to them. So I can only sympathize with some things, and other things, I guess, other parts of this process would probably be easier for someone like myself. So let me just go over kind of what came to me. Like I always say, I am constantly healing myself during this process. I am constantly dealing with fixing emotions of like anger and resentment and anger, probably. I'm provoked a lot. I am triggered a lot. So I have to heal all those triggers, heal all those wounds so that I can walk through in this new world, this new normal, that I haven't chosen for myself. But I mean, it kind of doesn't matter. I got to take this walk. So everybody's faced betrayals, obviously. Everybody has had some sort of family member, friend, person who has done them wrong, or they felt should have been more there for them, or they felt, you should have known me better, that shouldn't have happened between us. I feel like we all went through it. So it's obviously something that people do on purpose. They do it on purpose to hurt you. And so you gotta heal from it. The reality is, whether people knew that you were being gang stalked or not, or whether people knew what was going on, people chose that. They chose whatever decision. They chose, in my case, they like bribe people with money. So they chose the bribes, whatever it is. So in my case, it's like, it is what it is. People chose where they wanted to be, right? But let me just talk about it anyways. Healing betrayals is not like a regular wound. I feel like it's a soul wound, because these are connections that are so close. They connect you on like a soul level. So these are called soul ties. It's like relationships that are so sacred, that have such trust, that have such warmth. And usually that's family, your friends, your closest networks. And when you face multiple rejections, or almost all of these rejections or betrayals by people that you're that close to, it wounds you multiple times in your soul. So it's one thing if strangers betray you because you don't know them, so it doesn't hurt. But when people who are deeply close to you, like a spouse or a child, a grandparent, a parent betrays you, it's like you feel it. You feel it in your soul. And they do it on purpose because they want to block your heart. Even if you got back up on your feet, this trauma is so deep that you're going to continue walking with it. You're going to continue having to deal with it. So it's going to block you from having future pleasure. Being able to feel happiness, being able to be at ease, being able to just enjoy a day, a week, a month, a year, the rest of your life. How do your happiness comes from people, though we think it comes from people, places, or things. It comes from people. The people that are closer to you, the better your relationships, the happier you are. So if they strip you of the relationships, it's bad enough. But if they strip you of these really deep ones, and it's not just you lost someone due to like losing a family member or somebody passing away. I mean, you lost this relationship because they betrayed you. They showed you that what you felt for them, they never felt. And it feels like it was like some sort of, how do I explain this? Like fake bond, like someone was fake bonding with you. So it is a betrayal. And you have to address this similarly to like how you would if you were physically sick. So if you're physically sick, you would need to lay in bed all day. You would need to have tea. You would need to have soup. You'd need to rest up. You'd need to give up on work for a bit. That's the same way you need to address that kind of wound, like just beginning to heal that kind of wound. You have to literally, you have to give yourself a break. Take a day off, take an afternoon off, take a morning off, take a nap, like address it. Address the fact that this absolutely happened. You didn't want it to happen, but you just have to see. And that's the thing with healing. I feel like you don't need to take every day off for a month, but you definitely need to take time here and there just to like pull yourself together. Because I feel like healing those kind of wounds, it's going to take a while. You're going to go back and forth. You're going to be upset one day understanding the next day, upset again, hurt, depressed, whatever the case is. It's like, it's a difficult thing to heal. It's a difficult thing to deal with. So first of all, I would give it time, and I wouldn't expect all the healing to happen right away. It definitely feels like a personal, premeditated attack by a loved one. So it feels like somebody sat there, heard a pitch, agreed to it, and carried it out, like extremely premeditated over someone they've known for a long time, or someone that they're supposed to respect and trust. So it is deep. It's very deep. The first thing, don't allow negative emotions to creep in. And let me say, not negative, but lower emotions to creep. Okay. When it comes to your feelings, you have to have like boundaries that you're not gonna go, places that you're not gonna go, things that you do not want to say, because you don't want to cross that threshold. So one of the things I'd say is using a word like hate. You do not want to say you hate people, you low vibration. And I feel like it's a slippery slope. Like, you start saying it, then you start feeling it more and more, and then you're in that vibration. So you got to stop saying that word if you do say it. You don't want to go to a place of disrespecting God. You don't want to go to a place of not believing anymore, not having faith, which is, I don't even know if it's worse than disrespecting God, but not having faith, losing faith in God, not believing in God. That is a boundary you never cross. You just don't go there at all. So the first thing you do is, regardless of who it was and what happened, you really do not go to a place of hate, a place of maybe dislike, resentment. There's certain feelings you cannot avoid, but you gotta avoid not going to the deep end, because you're going to have to pull yourself back out in this healing process. So you can feel your hurt, but you don't want to be that deep. If you're experiencing feelings like anger, depression, sadness, like these things, when you stay in that vibration too long, it causes you to self-sabotage. It causes you to start giving up on things. It causes you to not have the desire, the passion to move forward with things. It really deals an emotional blow. So if you're going to go through the process of healing, you have to manage the very base emotions, like the very low vibing emotions. You gotta somehow convince yourself not to go that far. You want to process this from a logical place. You want to understand it, and you want to try to get closure on your own as much as possible, because you don't want to be reaching out to people who've hurt you, and you can't. So number 2, isolate yourself. Isolate yourself. You're going to be prone to lashing out and saying things that you're going to regret. You're going to be triggered. And so you need some time, at least in the very, very initial stages. You need some time. You need to process it. You're going to have your period of shock, obviously. You're going to have your period of confusion, obviously. You're going to have periods of anger eventually. I think I did another video on this where it's called the phases of healing. And I think like there's 5 or 7 emotions that you feel. But you're going to be stunned until you accept it. And the more it happens is the more you get used to it. And you're like, oh, this is what's going on now. Well, I hope you do. I hope people out there understand that, like, this is what is going on now. People are going to try to sully your reputation and your relationships. So that's part of what's going on. But even if you live with people, just give yourself a little bit of time just to be by yourself, to think, to process, to pray, to talk to God. You need to allow the emotions to flow and be purged out. This is the easy part and the hard part. So when you cry, let it flow. When you are upset, let it flow. When you talk to God about, why did this happen? I didn't want this to happen, etc., etc. You gotta just let it flow. And as emotions come up and you're crying and you're upset and you're this and that, you gotta let it flow. And you let it flow out, because it literally is darkness trapped inside of you. If you hold back the tears, if you cover it with pride, if you cover it with feeling as though you've been wronged, if you cover it with, well, you have been wronged in a sense, but you don't want to take on a victim mentality, is what I'm saying. You can acknowledge that I've been wronged, but you don't want to carry the feeling of being wronged with you. That's a victim mentality. As all of these things come up, you don't want to mask it with things that are just not letting it flow. That's it. Just let it out. I'm upset. You know, talk to God about different things. Like, just express all of it and just remain respectful. And I think I have one of these notes here saying, okay, that's number 3. I still have more in number 2, but you need to give it to God like a ball of dust. You need to just hand it over and be like, I don't know what to do with this. And sometimes I hand over my heart too, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this now, right now either. So I need you to take care of it for me while I get my mind together. And that's what you got to do. Like, you literally have to hand these problems to God for God to sort through. Because I tell you, the healing that would have taken months takes an afternoon. I'm not saying the whole thing, but I'm saying changing the vibration completely. It's like a late morning and like an afternoon, and then it's like back to yourself. That's the point of having spiritual relationships. It's spiritual family. It's never having to worry again about somebody or something's commitment. Never having to worry about being cared for, being loved in real life. In any kind of weather, whether things are good or bad, they're just always there, always comforting, always covering me, always making sure if there will be pain, it will be the least amount possible. And that's what gang stalking has felt like for me, that there was pain, but it was the least amount possible. It was shielded in every way. I was shielded from heartache. I was shielded from financial loss. I was shielded from spiritual attacks. I am being shielded from heartbreak. Just literally the feeling of my heart being broken. I think this is for everyone. I feel like these relationships exist. This is the Most High. You know, like, why would you want to walk this life not living like that? Why would you not want to be able to find peace? Peace. It comes from inside. And then you bring peace to others, and it pulls peace out of them. And now everybody is living in peace. That's it. It's very easy. Well, maybe not. It takes grooming. It takes persistence to make sure that you're healing yourself, that you're finding yourself in the best mood possible every day. That has become one of my priorities, is to really take a hold of my moods. Now, normally I do this process in private. Now, because I'm coming on camera every day, I end up doing it in person. Well, in public, I guess I would say. But it's a good place to be finding the emotional healing, because that is tough. It's tough. It's a tough ride. You need to accept the facts as they are. Okay, so listen here. No negotiating facts or outcomes. No making up reasons as to why. Just acceptance without the emotional attachment to the acceptance, without trying to get out of the acceptance, without asking for it to not be so, without asking to return for it or to it, without asking to try it again with a different outcome. You gotta accept that it had to happen this way. Some things are tough like that for me to accept, but you gotta accept that it had to happen this way. That you don't know yet why, and you're not being told yet why, but you're learning why. And you won't need to ask why. When it's all done, you'll know. You're like, oh, this had to happen. You gotta find a way to be grateful for this. It'll be asking a lot right away. It will. So maybe we don't ask ourselves to be grateful for it on day 1, 2, or 3. Take our time with that. Eventually, the gratitude for the lesson will come. It will come. You will get to a point where you're like, you know what? I'm kind of glad I knew that. I'm kind of glad I went through that. I'm kind of glad I know how to do that. I feel like I had to take a hiatus off my life to go learn how to heal myself from trauma, all around trauma. Trauma in every way. I had to learn how to heal. Crazy. Just accept that this is where you're going. This is the path that you're walking. There's a reason, and it'll take you somewhere. You gotta pamper yourself. It's not an if, but a must. Stay in bed, have a tea, have a bath, wash your hair, do some self-care, cry a little bit, don't overeat. I don't eat at all if I'm trying to heal myself, because I want to give my body the freedom to do what it needs to do and devote my immune system and my energy and everything to purging emotions. Purging emotions is draining and it takes energy, and that is what your energy is for. Your energy is not for going back and forth with people. Expressing yourself, yes. I have a platform, so I express myself on my platform. I vent on my platform. I get upset by things, but the going back and forth and answering people and like creating this vibration of like energy exchange, I'm not doing that with anyone. I'm not doing that. I'm learning to manage, especially anger recently. That's the thing that's been coming up. So everybody has been privy to see it. But we're pulling out of that harbor now. We're pulling away from that. Thank you, because anger sucks to feel. And I don't think it's because I'll never be angry again, but I definitely feel like I have the handle on how to get over anger and not be like stuck in a state of anger. That does not feel good at all. Outside of pampering your, stop obligations temporarily for your own good. Stop obligations just temporarily. Like you got to take a morning off. You have to, and that's not for everybody, because if you have a job that you need to go to and you need to be there every day at 9, please go to work. Maybe take an early afternoon or something like that. But I'm just saying, carve out some time to actually feel those emotions. Give yourself some space. Like, it is important. It is important. This is as important as doing the breath work and everything else. This is that important because you do not want to leave this thing damaged in the way that they intend. Just because as a human you feel the full capacity of some of your emotions. So you feel a lot of anger, you feel a lot of depression, you feel a lot of sadness, you feel broken, you feel lonely, you feel rejected, whatever. Just because you're feeling that, like a lot of it, it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to let it go, deflate it, and let it out, so that once you leave, you can be a better version of yourself. You can be more refined. That's what tough experiences are supposed to do. It's supposed to refine you into a better person. It's not supposed to break you where you never change or you never go back to that beautiful version of yourself, if you will. So I think the hardships and the emotional, I call it transmutation, where you basically take these really tough emotions and you grow from them. You use them for personal growth and development. Obviously tough, but I feel like that's what grows you as a person the most, is not just how you endure things, but how you heal from things, how you recognize that you cannot live in this vibration. Like, you need to change it. In the same way that you take control of your finances in a situation like this, you take control of where you're gonna live. You take control over like your body and how you're gonna respond to gang stalkers on the street, and how you're gonna take care of your house and yourself. You need to take care of your mind, and you take care of your emotions, your emotional body, your soul, your spiritual life. You need to take control of all of it. You need to heal all of it, and you need to get yourself to a place where even if you're not 100% healed, you're good enough to accept good things when they come to you, to accept love from other people, from friendships, to not, turn dark when you're in public, being hostile to people and not emotionally connecting to people. Because I've seen that happen to people as well, and it's like this thing gets blocked, it gets hard, and you can't use it if it's blocked and it's hard. And you definitely cannot manifest a new life and believe in yourself, believe in the good of the world, believe things are going to work out for you. You can't do that if this is blocked. So you got to keep moving on that. And last, for that point, I'm going to say fast and pray. Fast meaning don't, eat for a little bit, especially during the grieving process. I think that shouldn't be hard. However, there are people with sweet tooths that want to go to that. I would just stay away from food for a little bit, and praying is a must. Like, you got to give this to God. You got to give all of this darkness to God, and make sure that you're not trying to carry this alone. If you're into spiritual practices, do not light candles right now. Do not seek revenge while you're hurting. Process it first. Process what you're feeling. Don't make things worse. Forgiveness. So forgiveness is what I call releasing anger. Releasing the anger will allow for clarity to come in. Just accepting it. Once you accept things, you can release the anger. Travel light. Like I said, no hate. The resentment, the stunted heart, it stunts your growth in every part of your life. So you do have to release it. You want to travel light. And you definitely don't want to be in a position where you're never loving people ever again, or trusting people and that sort of thing. You need to be able to live with yourself in your body and in your mind. If you have chaos in your mind, you're going to find chaos everywhere you go. You can't escape it. If you move countries, you move cities, you move towns, you're going to find the chaos there because you're there. So you need to be able to live in your body and in yourself. Do you want to live with an angry person? Do you want to live with a sad person, a closed off person, a person who doesn't express emotions? We don't. Nobody does. So you have to empty your vessel of these feelings. You have to purge it. You need to live with your people. No, you need to recognize that the people who did this need to live with themselves. And the same way you don't want to live with yourself feeling a certain way, I don't think these people, it's as easy to live with themselves as they make it seem on the outside. They make it seem one way, but if you look a little bit closer, you can see what's going on. First of all, they mask it in the daytime. Like, I met someone whose son was the one that sold her out to be a part of this thing. And she was so stunned by it, it's like she was still going through it. And I remember thinking to myself, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. For somebody's offspring, for your own child, to be the one that sells you out. Like, I think that's so crazy. But, people have to confront themselves. And if it's not at night, it comes out at some point. If they drink, if they get very this is something they can't even admit to other people because they know how wrong it is. Imagine saying, I took a bribe, I took money to put make my mom a drug mule or a gang stalker. Just imagine that. That's intense, A lot of these people have drug use to escape the pain, to escape the feelings that are too much. A lot of these people have self-hatred. They do hate themselves, and you can see it in the way that they behave. They hate themselves, and then now they hate everybody else. They're always inflicting pain on themselves because they feel like that's what they deserve. So they're constantly putting themselves in situations that a person who loved themselves would not be doing. It's like no concern for themselves, for their safety, for anything. It's almost like a person wants to feel the pain just to be able to feel something. They want to feel pain just to feel something. That's how angry they are. they take good things from themselves because they don't think they deserve it, meaning they don't treat good things very well either. They misuse people, mistreat people, animals, places, and things. And it's just like, I think everybody knows people like that. I think it's tougher to deal with yourself after being projected feelings of anger and having to deal with this thing. I could never live a lifetime like this ever. I had to heal that stuff immediately. Like, I have to sit with it, I have to purge it, I have to get it out. Then I have to pray, I have to clean my environment, I have to feel better, I have to like take care of myself. Like, I cannot sit in that kind of vibration. It is ridiculous. I don't know how people are doing it. And I'm sorry for people who are that upset every day. And I've been through a lot and I have reason to be upset. It's not that you don't have reason to be upset, it's that it doesn't feel good. It feels horrible to carry this kind of feeling with you, this hatred, this pain, this anger. It feels horrible. As soon as you release it, you're like, whoa, this wasn't even me. You feel lighter in your body. You're like, it's almost like you levitate a little bit. So people have to live with themselves, and long after they spend the money, long after they do whatever it is that they wanted to do, they're going to realize it was never worth it. It was never worth it to get rid of such an important relationship. You do not need to punish people. You need to heal to feel happiness again. These are on two opposite sides of the scale. Punishing someone is not going to make you feel better. The pain is inside of here. It's trapped here. Getting your body done is not going to make you feel better. Getting a lot of money is not going to make you feel better. Having a lot of friends, especially when it's fake, because this is close, it's not going to make you feel better. Being better than other people is not going to make you feel better. The only thing that makes you feel better is when you get all of this crap out of there. It has to come out. You got to address every single one of the things that triggers you, that pisses you off, that makes you feel inadequate, that makes you feel small, that makes you feel ugly, that makes you feel whatever. You got to address each one by one. You got to look at it and you got to say, is it really that bad? No. Does it change my life if I didn't think people didn't like it? No. What if people really don't care as much as they're saying? Or as much as I think they care about it? What if people don't care I have a big nose in real life? Because they don't. They may talk about it behind my back, but I don't know. I'm fine. Does it really matter if people think that, whatever it is that people are saying about you? Who knows? In my case, who knows really? I think the one thing that I do know is they are saying I'm a witch. So that's what it is. But is it really that bad? For me, it kind of got used to it because I'm confused. It is what it is. I am confused myself. I don't know what's going on here. Just riding the waves, and they feel good, and that's it. But no, it doesn't feel that bad. It doesn't feel bad at all. I don't know. When I'm in my Zen place, which I am, obviously I'm at peace. When I'm at peace, I don't really care. I don't know. I don't care what people are talking about. I just don't. I don't know. It's not like people's feelings don't matter to me. It's people's opinion of me that doesn't matter to me. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe I know, but I don't want to say it. I don't give people that much authority over me and over my feelings. I don't give them any authority over me and my feelings at all. Not even a little bit. I just think I work on myself so much that I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm a wonderful, amazing person, and I love myself, and I protect myself, and I take care of myself. So that's why I don't feel the need to change myself. And you really have to have like that sort of mentality, and you just like accept where you are in life. Accept where you are in life. You're here for a reason. There's lessons on this path that you will need for tomorrow. So you want to learn your lessons. You want to accept everything. You want to flutter away. For me, I avoid closure because I've made peace with it one way or the other. it's like the closure itself is of low importance. It doesn't really matter to me like why, because it doesn't change the outcome. If the outcome changes, then the reasoning might be relevant, just even for just me collecting information and storing it inside of myself. But as far as like closure with most things, I only know like open sure. If I'm opening something, I see why I would have a conversation. But if things are closed, there's no conversation needed. There's no apology needed. It's not going to change the outcome. The healing is with me. The forgiveness is with me. The acceptance is with me. The peace ultimately will be with me as well. So like, I don't need to have a conversation with somebody as to why they betrayed me. It's just like, you did. And I can't trust you anymore. And yeah, that's how I feel about my city. It's like they gang stalked me. So nobody needs to apologize. Just stay away from me forever. Like, that's all it is. You know, you cannot be trusted in my vicinity. Why would I want to have a conversation? So yeah, that's where I stand with that. If you're a person who needs closure, then you need to contact the person who hurt you, and they may or may not care. And I feel like it's opening more wounds and making things worse. And then you're almost like triggering yourself, or almost tricking yourself into like, well, maybe if I talk to them and they say the right things, then I can forgive them and we can open this back. And it's like, no, the universe does not work that way. You can't open it back, or you're going to repeat the cycle. You're going to repeat the cycle of craziness. You cannot talk to them. No forgiveness. No anything. Like, they need to forgive themselves, and you need to forgive yourself, you know? And they can forgive you in their own heart, and you can forgive them in your own heart. You know, and everybody takes it as a lesson and they move on. Hopefully they see it as a lesson. They're like, I lost somebody that I needed, if not loved and respected. But if they're thinking about it after, then clearly it had some sort of significance. There was some sort of need, some sort of benefit they were getting from you. So it's like, I would just like, hopefully they can just say they're not going to treat the next person like that. And if they do, then they'll repeat a cycle. I don't know. But for you, it's like the cycle's done. Game's over. It's dead. Bury it. Put the dirt on it. Put a tombstone and don't go dig it up. That's it. That's it. That's how I deal with it. This process takes time and multiple sessions with yourself. Feelings pop back up all the time randomly. You randomly start feeling like an old feeling comes back up when it's not fully healed. If it's like only partially healed and the parts that are not healed comes back up. You need to literally just like make peace with things. That's the first thing you need to do. You know, when I'm shocked the rapid healing that I'm doing. Honestly, it feels unreal. Like, I thought healing was supposed to take longer than this, and I thought it was supposed to be harder than this. So that's why I felt like I should make a video. Since I started working on the anger thing and how to like meditate through it and whatever, it's like, I don't know, I'm evolving so fast, because I don't need to meditate or breathe through it either. I just need to like, I don't even need to 100% understand it. I just need to understand myself. Like, do you want to deal with this? No. Are you okay with it? Yeah. You're gonna die? No. Did you die? No. You're gonna be okay? Yeah, of course. Okay, so we're done? Yeah. Or I might be like, no, we're not done yet. And I might want to cry a little bit more and get pissed off a little bit more and whatever, but eventually you get done with it. Eventually you're like, it is what it is. I learned from it. I understand. It's, you know, I walked myself into that one, blah, blah, blah. And then you just walk away, because this is not for you in the first place. What type of son betrays a mother? That's not someone that you want around you. You got to make peace with it. It happened. and the trash took itself out. I'm sorry to call somebody's hypothetical son trash, but he is. He is. You can't sell out your mom. You can't sell out your mom. Mothers are sacred. Sacred. There was no money in the whole world that would be worth. A mother is the person that's still coming to visit you in prison 10 years later. The only one. She's still coming. Once a week, once a month, whatever it is. So you know you can wait on that visit. Nobody sells out their mom. Come on. You can't. So he is trash, and it's like you gotta get rid of him. You gotta isolate, from quarantine from people like that. That could take money over their own mother, that could hurt a mother, that could break a mother's heart. Those tears will rip you so much pain. Like mother's tears or a person who really loved you. They say it's women. Women's tears. In my country, we say that the tears of a good woman destroys a man's life. So it's like, you know, but a mother is sacred. A mother is very sacred. I could not even imagine like not having my mother, not being close to her every day. Like I couldn't imagine that. I don't want her upset and somebody would like sell their mom to be a drug mule. Wow. It's concerning. Having hobbies helps. For me, I love baking. I went back to that. I love cooking. I love so much things, honestly. And luckily, I don't have to go far to do those things, but it enhances my personal life. So it has helped with the healing. It really has. It's helped just touching dough, playing in flour. Yeah, it helps. Go back to little things that you like, that make you happy, that make you feel at home, that make you feel peaceful. Avoid self-medicating. Do not drink alcohol. Do not smoke. Do not do drugs while healing. You don't even want to eat too much because you want to pray, you want to fast, you want an empty stomach, you want your body to focus on the healing and not digesting food. So definitely drugs, you know, alcohol, anything that changes your mood in any way, any mood altering substance, stay away from it. And take your time with yourself. Like there's no need to rush. You gotta feel it. You can't numb it. You can't push it down. You gotta feel it. It has to come out. I have hair cry a lot. I mean, if you're a person to cry, I think men cry too, obviously. Men cry. Men just don't like crying in front of people, and that's okay. But you gotta get it out. You gotta let it out. You gotta acknowledge it. It's happening. You know you're gonna feel better when your appetite returns. You're gonna be very hungry all of a sudden. That means your inner body is healed. That means that whatever was holding you up inside is released. That's a good sign. That's like when you are sick and you get better, all of a sudden you get your appetite back. It's the same thing. So you're gonna cry until you get your appetite back, or you're gonna be upset or deal with it or whatever. Now, there's a difference with purging emotions and feeling emotions and replaying events. Getting upset because you're replaying it in a different way. You're negotiating, how comes this and that? No. You gotta heal from the place of, I am glad it is over. I am relieved it is over. If you are still at a place where you want it back, you're not ready for the healing. Although you should still start. You have to start healing. Healing is becoming better again. Healing is not just the part where you're still in the shock phase, the negotiation phase of a heartbreak. When you're still engaging, that's not healing. That's engaging in a problem. When the problem is over, it's done. It pissed you off. It happened. You accepted it. No going back. No negotiation. There is where the healing starts, because there is where you can release it. Let it go. It happened for a reason. It's for your protection. They cannot come to the new version of you. So the healing begins the new version. The healing is saying, I'm incorporating all the lessons I learned, and the parts of me that are good and shiny enough to keep, and the parts that I don't need, hatred, resentment, feeling like the world's against me, feeling like people are following me all over, I'm releasing this. I am releasing all of this so that I can be happy again, peaceful again, like being in the world again. At the end of healing, the purpose of it, the objective, the goal, the point, at the end of it is to be happy again. Not a card to be happy, not I got my job back, not I got more money, not my life went back to the same. The point of healing is to not need anything to be happy. That's what healing does. When this is open, you don't need anything to be happy, because you've let go of anything that would have weighed you down or pulled you away from happiness. You get rid of the hate, you get rid of the anger, you get rid of the malice. It's not holding you down. So now you can bob all the way up. You can shoot up to those high vibing emotions, and you don't need anything to achieve that. Sometimes it could be a spiritual attack on you, you know. So what I mean by that is, sometimes you have relationships where people try to take that person away from you to make you pay or to punish you for something. And when they do that, it's like, even if the person who was pulled away from you, even though it's not their fault because it was a spiritual attack, it's like they got to take some sort of accountability as well, as to like allowing that to happen, allowing anyone whatsoever to come in between. Now, a lot of situations cannot be helped. Like a lot of situations, it's like a safety concern. Not a lot, but some situations like mine is a safety concern, and you know, things are understood, but it's like still, you know, just, well, I don't know, because if once a safety concern, it's a safety concern, so I don't know what to say. But if it's not like a safety concern, if it's just like I said, the situation of the son and the mother, and like she said, he betrayed her, it's like he has to take accountability for allowing people to get in between the relationship with him and his mother, spiritual attack or not. Come on, you gotta be accountable that no matter what somebody said about your mother, till death do we part. There's no way that it doesn't matter. And if it does matter to you, take it up with her. You don't take money, bro. Like, I don't understand it clearly. So I can't even. You got to be thankful for the lesson, which is super duper 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 hard in the beginning. But it is a lesson. It's something to learn. You got to learn the self-love. You got to, and when you heal this and it's hard, remember the process you went through to get there. What did you do? What worked? What delayed it? What, you got to go through the process with it. Don't neglect important or urgent tasks. Please don't like take a month off or a week off. Well, I don't know. I can't tell. I wouldn't take a week off. I can't tell anybody what to do. But just don't neglect things that are super important to do. Just ask God to take control completely. You're not in a good place. And you got to forgive yourself for allowing yourself to even be treated that way. There's so much for you to do and think about. Just take care of yourself is what I'll say. I pre-pulled spirit message cards because I ended up reading a bunch of them and then I got lost with it. So these are messages I guess Spirit pulled out. You are not moving too slowly. Drop the self-induced pressure. You are at the sweet spot between taking care of yourself and still making advancements on your goals. On this path, there is no such thing as being behind. Smile, breathe, and carry on. We will definitely be beating up ourselves about a lot of situations, but this is the path. It's this slow or this fast or whatever for a reason. Sometimes it picks up and sometimes it slows down, and just it is what it is. Keep moving forward even if you are unsure of your next step or where it may take you. Trust that you are walking the path you are meant to walk. Remember, we are walking it with you. Trust yourself more. Such beautiful cards. How can a person not love these cards? Keep moving forward. You're really not going to know where life is going to take you when you're rebuilding after something like that. Gotta just trust God and like go for the ride and see where you're going to end up. Perhaps you are reminded all too often just how quickly the phases in your life can shift. One change after another, you are learning to adapt and grow. Be kind and gentle with yourself. All of these cards have to do with showing yourself compassion because you have been gang stalked. You are not a failure. You are being manipulated. Illusions are created around you. People don't want to see you do well, etc., etc. Like, you are not behind in life. So you got to give yourself a little bit of grace. Go back to the heart of who you truly are. There you will find peace. Look at your life in its entirety. Acknowledge any old wounds and then release them. Use what they taught you as added strength. Keep moving forward with a renewed sense of confidence. I mean, these cards are amazing. Like, they're saying everything they need to say already. So hopefully that helps someone. And there's a bonus one that I got that I want to read. I want to share it anyway. It says, make today your new beginning. Try to leave any past mistakes in the past. Don't allow them to weigh you down any longer. Move forward today with the confidence knowing that you have better and brighter days ahead. This is that self-forgiveness, accepting that you're not perfect. I have to accept that all the time. Accepting that you're not perfect, accepting that you make mistakes, and giving yourself a ton of new beginnings. You don't have to wait for the universe always to do it. You can get up one day and say, like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I had to wake up very quickly and be like, I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to bring my emotional baggage everywhere. You know, I got to release it as it comes. And so that allows for better, more consistent purging, especially when I'm being sent spiritual attacks. So it's like, I got to release it. But I love this card about making today your new beginning. I want to thank, I'm going to keep it out because I'm going to read it a couple times again. I want to thank anybody that hung in there with me. Have a beautiful day and God bless.